Do you believe today's developments should put the nail in the coffin on the efforts that are ongoing right now to try to revive that so-called Iran nuclear deal?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I think the deal was a mistake in 2015. It hasn't gotten any better with age. The administration has been on its knees in Vienna begging to get back into the deal, which sends signals of weakness not just to Tehran, but around the world. There's no indication that the regime in Tehran's willing to give up its pursuit of nuclear weapons. Our allies in the region, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Israel, clearly see this danger. And now in the United States, if this doesn't show anything about Iran's willingness to try and intimidate its adversaries, I don't know what else to say. I think we ought to put the kibosh on these negotiations and deal with the growing threat that Iran poses and not try to appease them. Well, I think going back into this deal is delusional. I think the original deal was bad. Iran should never have been permitted to enrich uranium at all. It's not trustworthy enough to do that. The deal has not gotten any better with age. The United States has literally been on its knees in Vienna begging to get back in, making one concession after another. I think it endangers American security to go back into this deal. The White House has it compartmented. They say over here is the good negotiations on the Iran nuclear deal. Over here is the bad terrorism sort of thing. The minds of the leadership in Iran are not compartmentalized. These are instruments of Iranian power to use against the great Satan. Their commitments are not worth the paper they're printed on. I think our friends and allies, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, and others in the region know what the Iranian threat is, and the terrorism and the nuclear are just two sides of the same coin.
Well, there are others. I interviewed David Petraeus yesterday who said, you know, as bad as all of these other threats are from Iran, we were safer with the nuclear deal than not. But I just want to ask you about something else, because I was told that one of the last issues, which we know publicly, one of the last issues was whether to lift the terror designation that was imposed by the Trump administration on Iran, which is, or on the Revolutionary Guard, the exact group that was out to get you, according to this charging documents, and that there was a counter offer from the U.S. side to lift that designation if they would cancel all of these death plots against former U.S. officials.
Right. That is the same mentality that says we're better off having the deal. The fact is the deal itself is so inherently flawed, puts Iran so close to a nuclear capability that it gave them all they wanted, even if they complied with the deal, which they did not. But they've said, we're not going to go after nuclear weapons. That commitment is worth just about as much as a commitment that says we'll stop trying to commit murder against American citizens on American soil. This regime in Tehran will say anything to achieve its objectives, whether it's on the nuclear side or the terror side. They're not dishonest about terrorism, but honest about the nuclear issue. And anybody who thinks that we're going to advance American interest by agreeing with that regime, I think is actually putting those interests at great risk.